Hello, Matt Thompson here, the Homebrew hero. I am brewing a pumpkin ale today. Now let me show you the ingredients I'm using and what you're going to need if you want to do this too. Okay, so as far as grains, we got 7 pounds of pale malt, a pound of Munich, it's got a light Munich, and then we got Cara Munich, that'll give it some of its sweetness and color. This is half a pound of the Crystal 60 that we're going to throw in there. I had left over from my caramel ale. And for hops today, we're using some Cascade and Willamette. Also, I got an entire pound of rice hulls. Now this doesn't add any flavor or anything, but you do throw it in your mash when you have a lot of adjuncts. As for our equipment today, I got this beast here. It's a 8-pound aluminum pot. And I went with aluminum because it's cheaper, for one thing, way cheaper than steel, but also it heats up and cools off a lot faster than steel, so that's definitely a benefit from aluminum. This is my homemade mash tun, as you can see. I just got a Home Depot 10-gallon and ordered this off of Amazon and just kind of screwed that in there. If you look on top, inside there we have got 4 of these big boys. Each one is about 1.5 pounds, close to 1.5 pounds, so we're having roughly close to 6 pounds of pumpkin. We're going to add 2 into the mash. And of course, if you're doing pumpkin, you need these 5 babies right here: nutmeg, ginger, cinnamon, cloves, allspice. So allspice, probably 1/4 teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon of everything else except the cinnamon. We need a full teaspoon. We have about 9.5 pounds of actual grain, but because we're using 1 pound of the rice hulls and 6 pounds of pumpkin, we're going to have to include that in how much water we're going to use. A quart per pound of grain. So we're going to add 16 quarts of water to here, and we're going to heat it up to 172 and probably drop about 18 degrees and hit our target temperature at 154. Okay, so we're aiming for 172 on our sparge water. Yeah, that's there. So we're gonna do this thing. Stir everything in. Ooh. So yeah, we're gonna lose about 18 degrees and hopefully hit our temperature of 154 after we add all this in. We'll keep stirring it in as we do. And maybe we'll get some of this. Put in this many different kinds of grains before. Fly with me. And we're going to add in some of that pumpkin, 100% pumpkin. Shit. And there's flies in my face. That doesn't help when you're doing this in August. Ah, flies! Do this a little quicker. Losing our temperature the longer this takes. About as good as we're gonna get mixed. We'll take a temperature here in just a second. Make sure it's where we want. Well, let's see where our temperature is. Please be at 154. I don't want to have to add more water to this. It's about 151. That's not bad. I've never done it with rice hulls and pumpkin before, so I wasn't sure exactly the temperature drop we were gonna get, but that's close enough. Now would probably be a good time to get this yeast going. So normally I use White Labs, and I do a starter if I wanted to get the yeast off to a good start, or if my gravity was over like 1.07 or so, but they didn't have the specific yeast I needed in White Labs. This is the same strain as the English White Labs, but it's called London by Y Yeast. And these are kind of cool because so about 3 hours or more before you're ready to pitch, you pull this out of the fridge and you kind of pop it. You can kind of feel that there's a little package in there. You kind of push it to one corner and then you pop it, and that breaks open the nutrients, and then the yeast, the thing starts swelling and the yeast starts growing. So it's kind of like a mini starter basically. So that's what we're using today. Alright, so we got our sparge water. I just put in about 6 gallons. Probably use most of it, not necessarily. Gonna heat that up to 170 to sparge on top of here. This has been mashing for about 80 minutes now. Our conversion should be complete. Now we're just gonna take a temperature reading. Yeah, so it actually, wow. Look at that color. Oh, it's already getting stuck. That is the color we want. That is beautiful. So we are gonna drain probably half a gallon of this out just to clear it up, and then pour this back on top, and then it should be coming out pretty clear. Okay, starting to do these first runnings into the bucket now. Almost halfway full. So we're gonna rinse out those grains with this 170-degree water. Rinse out all those sugars, so we have a nice sweet wort. It's coming out pretty sweet so far too. Just get an inch or so above the grain bed. Look at that, yeah. We collected 6 gallons of that wort, and then we poured it into our brew bucket. Look at that color. So, as soon as it starts boiling, we're gonna put in the other 2 cans of our pumpkin. Also, we have 8 ounces of brown sugar and 4 ounces of molasses we're gonna add in there as well. Okay, let's add our Willamette hops. Got 1 ounce of those. Stir that in. And next we're going to add in that pumpkin, 2 cans of it. Okay, so we're going to put that last can of pumpkin in here. It's kind of tricky to do it without splashing it in your face, but that's a beautiful color. Whoa. Yeah, looks like dog food. Okay, we're going to add our 1/2 ounce of Cascade. We're at about 30 minutes here. Bloop. Alright, so we've added all our hops, and we're at about 10 minutes now, so I'm going to add in our spices. Well, actually, let's do like half. It's too much. Expert measure as you can do. And then from here, I'm going to get my ice bath ready. Wish I had a wort cooler, but those are expensive. It's close to 1.06, but not quite. Maybe 1.58 or so. Okay, so our yeast packet's all fat. We sprayed it with some sanitizer on the outside. Now we're going to cut it open and put it in there. Alright, there she is. Got the yeast in there and everything. So we're actually going to attach a blow-off tube on to here in just a minute, because there's definitely not enough headspace there. That is going to, when it gets active, it's going to overflow like crazy.